probably my favorite book. Definitely in my top 5 this year. Dang. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina, aka Northwest Reader, and yeah, this video is like a vlog. I'm gonna try to do a vlog. We'll see how that goes, but I'm gonna try to read 3 horror / thriller books within the next week or 2, and then just vlog my experience. We'll see how that goes. And the 3 books I'm going to read, this one I have mentioned quite a bit in my other videos from the past, but it's The Resurrectionist by James White. Rath. And this book is about, I believe it's a guy that is able to resurrect people, and he uses it for bad. So he kills people, resurrects them, kills them, resurrects them, like does really weird stuff. I already, I'm like on the 3rd page because I just wanted to see how it starts out, and whoa, this is already messed up. And seriously, I'm on page 3. So already there's a ton of trigger warnings. Murder, body horror, rape, domestic violence, like it's already. So I heard it was messed up, and that's why I wanted to read it, because I wanted to read something different, and it is different. Holy cow. So this should be an interesting one next week if I finish it. Hopefully I'm able to finish it and not DNF it. So this book I started a little bit of every book today just to see which one got my attention more. And so far, this one is the one I think I'm going to start with and continue to read first. But it's Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Yeah, this is about a girl whose sister, she ends up missing. And it's questionable as to if mermaids killed them. And the beginning is pretty graphic also, with these mermaids killing people. So, but I'm really into it so far. It's pretty good. So this one's a chunker though. This one's over 400 pages, so probably is best that I read this one first and try to get it done within the next week. In this book, I heard about this author from Instagram, and I never read any of his other books, so I figured this would be a good one to start with, because I believe he just released a book. But it's, the author is Craig Walwork, see without the glare, and it's Bad People, a Tom Nolan book. I started this also to see what the beginning was about, and again, trigger warnings. And it's pretty. There was some body horror in the very beginning. That surprised me. It was pretty gross, so great way to start my autumn weather. And I did some hair stuff. It's been a minute since I've recorded anything, but I did a little bit of bleaching of my ends and then added some pink. So now it's sherbirdy looking. It's whatever, I don't care. But I'm hoping these books are good. Predictions, I think Bad People will probably be a 4. I feel like this is going to be like a 2 or a 3. And then I feel like this is going to be a 4. I don't know if they're going to blow me out of the water. But they're going to be at least average. And yeah, the one that I'm most like, oh, I don't know about this, it's The Resurrectionist. Yeah, I am in a horror book mood like no other, in a thriller. I've read quite a few already this month, and it's just, I'm insatiable right now. That's all I want. So anyways, I'm gonna go do mom stuff, and I'll update you later. Bye. Ooh, it's the next day. Ugh. Just want to give a quick update. I am about 60-ish pages into The Drowning Deep into the Drowning Deep. It's okay. I'm kind of bored. Yeah, it's still the build up to the story. And it's very reminiscent of all the 90s classic horror stories where they have this group of people that come together and they go on a boat to do research, and then craziness is going to happen. Like right now they're gathering all the people pretty much to go on this trip and try to prove that mermaids are real, pretty much. And I'll try not to give anything away because I don't want to ruin it for anyone, because I went in completely blind. I just knew it was about killer mermaids. So yeah, like the very beginning, super interesting. And then after that, now I'm in the part where you're kind of getting to know all the characters, and the guy is trying to gather up the different people to come work with him to go do this thing. And it's just, there's a lot of parts where it's like, it's super technical, and I just do not care whatsoever. So I'm just smiling and trying to get through it. But girl, ooh, kind of reminds me of The Martian, where the author goes in, when you read it, like the movie was entertaining. The book, I'm like one of the few that did not like the book. I DNF'd it. But that was years ago. Like whenever he was talking about growing the potatoes and like the detail the author goes into about the measurements and chemicals and cubic square feet, I'm like, girl, I do not care. Like, why am I reading this? It's a textbook. I don't need to know all this stuff. I'm never gonna do this, hopefully. So I don't see why I'm reading it. It's not interesting to me. So that's borderline like that right now. But it's okay so far. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. So that's the only thing that's keeping me reading it, that's for sure. Because my goodness, the build up, it's like, I'm almost at 100 pages and we're still like building up the base of the story, and it's like, But anyways, that's where I'm at. Right, bye. Ooh, hello. I haven't updated in a few days. Yeah, I've had a hard week. But I started reading again yesterday. If you want book updates, like, because I'm still reading the 3 books and I've made progress, but if you want just book updates, just skip ahead. I'm just letting y'all know what happened. So so I haven't had a relationship with my birth mother for 20 years or so. She abandoned me at my grandparents' house, like the year 2000 or something like that. I haven't seen her since, but I know she's been alive. But beginning of the week, my father got, he's been divorced from her, but he got a letter from the state of Arizona saying that she passed away. So I had to kind of deal with that, because yeah, I'm like her last, one of the few people, living relatives. So I've been like kind of going through that, and I have not been wanting to read. But after a good cry and all this fun stuff, I feel somewhat better. And like, I went and got my nails done. I was just trying everything to just feel better, because it was hard. So yeah, that's what I've been going through. And I am so sorry it's a downer, but I didn't want to read during that time, because one of the books is, the dude has mommy issues, like terribly. So was not in the mood to read that. But I feel like I'm okay now and everything's good. But yeah, so let's update on some books. So I'm still reading Into the Drowning Deep. I'm still a little bit bored. I'm like 30% in now, And other than the very beginning, nothing's really happened that's exciting or even kind of, I mean, there's interesting parts, but it's all scientific, and they're still introducing more characters. There is like so many characters in this, and I don't even remember what they do, none of that, especially now that I haven't really picked it up in a few days. I'm waiting for these mermaids to appear again, but there's just so many characters and I'm not into that. Like, I like, if there's more than 5, I'm like, dang. But yeah, it's very 90s horror vibes. It reminds me of like it just makes me think of all those 90s films where they take a group of people, misfits, bring them together for one mission, and I'm suspecting a lot of these people are gonna die. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. But it's okay so far. This book, I'm a little more than halfway through. I knocked out like 150 pages yesterday. But it's The Resurrectionist by Rath James White. Ooh, girl. Like I've said before, like even in the first 2-3 pages, it's really messed up. And it continues to be super messed up. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, I'm getting what I was told, which it was really just messed up, but story-wise, it's just halfway through there was like this lull of stuff that's happening that I don't see how it adds to the story whatsoever. It was just not interesting, especially after everything that's been happening, all the intense, weird, brutal stuff that's been happening. Then there's suddenly this like everyday life stuff, and it was just, I did not care whatsoever. And yeah, I just like read through it real quick. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna end, so that's good. It's not super predictable. I have some interesting things to say about it once I finish it, but I'm probably gonna finish this probably today or tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been reading. I'm just happy to be reading again, but this week has been a rough one. So anyways, finally went out, and the salon, the nail salon, was super safe, or I felt safe there. And I haven't been out since February, March, so it was just nice to just get out of the house and try to distract myself a little bit after everything that's been going on. So anyways, good morning. I'm gonna continue having my coffee and play with baby. He's trying to play with the cat. I never really put him on film before, so there you go. Ooh, don't mind me. I just took a shower. I just wanted to update saying, whoa. So after my last update, picked up Into the Drowning Deep because it's been a little bit, and whoa. Of course, after I like come on here and I'm like, oh my god, it's so boring, there's like nothing happening, something happens and it's scary. Like, it scared me to the core because I don't know what I was thinking. I'm terrified of, like, I have a phobia of going in the ocean. But I mean, I will, so I guess it's not that bad, but deep sea ocean stuff freaks me out. It weirds me out how dark and like suffocating it is down deep down, and there's like animals down there that don't have eyes, and like anglerfish, and just, it's scary to me, terrifying. So no, I'm not spoiling anything, I'm not going to, but this first contact, because they obviously have to go do some investigating, and my god, it's so scary. Oh my goodness, and it's so atmospheric. I was in the moment. Like, this has been the most engaged, like engrossed into this book I've been. And it's if I don't have nightmares from this, I will be surprised. But touche, author, touche, because I couldn't stop reading, and yet I wanted to at the same time. But just this simple scene, I mean, it's not that simple, but it's a roller coaster ride for sure. So far, this one scene has redeemed the last, I don't even know, 100 pages that I've been reading, where I've been bored out of my mind, and like the character building and story build up. Like, I get it. It's important, but scary. But I am going to go continue reading, and okay. Ooh, it is cold out. Ooh. Okay, update. So I finished The Resurrectionist. Whoa. Okay, as shocking as this book was, especially in the very beginning, and there are scenes where it's super graphic and you kind of get desensitized a little weirdly to all of the violence and body horror and stuff that's in this, but it's very repetitive, the scenes, and midway through the book you're kind of bored, and it's almost a little predictable and ridiculous almost, I want to say. But there were a lot of moments where I just was not into it, just bored, as weird as that is. Because like I didn't really I mean, I sympathized for the characters that this stuff was happening to them, but the author really fixated on some like really obscure things, like about the murderer, serial killer, like with his certain private size, and it was just weird. The characters in the book were really flat. There's no depth to them really, and they were almost stereotypical, especially the main female character. And the writing style was kind of disjointed. And I mean, I'm not an expert, I'm not an author, so what do I know? But I just know it wasn't, there was something missing. But for the majority of the book, I was thinking rating it like a 2-star. Like, that was in my mind, 2 stars. But then by the end, I was kind of surprised, and I didn't think of a certain element of how it could end the way that it ended, and it surprised me. So I gave it a 1/2 star because of that, and that's the only reason. But like 2.5, I gave it 2.5 stars. But yeah, it's easily the most graphic, shocking thing I've read, and I'm not really interested in reading any more of his stuff. And I did a little bit more research on the author, and I guess he's known for writing really graphic things. And there were a few scenes in the book where the couple in the book, they're intimate scenes between just the two of them, and it just seemed like a smut book, and it just caught me off guard because it just seemed random where it's like really descriptive sexual scenes, and I was just surprised by it. And then when I did more research on the author, I guess he writes like BDSM books and stuff like that, and then it made more sense. But just jumping in, not knowing anything about the author or like what he normally writes or anything like that, it just seemed very random and weird. But the whole book is weird, and tons of trigger warnings. There's rape, incest, body horror, gore, murder, suicide, killing of small animals, mutilation, just everything under the sun. There was like a gripe for me was towards the beginning, the lead female character, she was saying how she likes to walk around naked, and she's going to enjoy it as long as she can before having kids, because after she has kids, she's not going to want to walk around naked, because then she'll have saggy boobs, stretch marks and a paunch, like a belly on her. And then she'll just not want to walk around naked and stuff. And I was just like super caught off guard by that, because I mean, I get some women feel that way, but it really sounded like a man writing a woman's perspective, and just, you know, like it just seemed like just randomly bizarre. It like took me out of the moment, I guess, where I'm like, oh, that's right, this is a male author, not an actual, like, this is a male author trying to write a female thoughts and feelings. And it was just, it felt like a male author. But the premise is really interesting. I really enjoyed the premise of like a serial killer being able to resurrect people, and then when he resurrects them, they don't remember what happened. So he does all this horrible stuff to them. They don't remember. He continues to keep doing this, especially to this couple that lives across the street from him. Also, one thing I did like was he kind of goes into the background a little of the serial killer, and you get somewhat of an idea, perspective of what influenced this lifestyle that he has, this killing, awful lifestyle. But yeah, I'm happy it's done. Into the Drowning Deep, my book's over there. I'm like 65% in, I think, almost 70. It's getting crazy. Like the sciencey stuff right now is actually interesting for once for me, so I'm a little happy about that. And I'm like, I'm waiting for more people to be killed, because right now it's been a little slow on the death thing, murder, or like the killings, which I'm surprised. I thought there would have been craziness going on by this point, but it's not too crazy. So I'm guessing the ending is just going to be super nuts. But I'm loving, I mean, granted, there's a ton of characters, which I'm not thrilled about, but I'm more attached to these characters for sure than I was for the Resurrectionist. And it's super interesting, and I'm enjoying it so far. But yeah, that is my update. I'm gonna go sit outside in the rain, well, under the cover while it's raining outside, and read. I'm gonna pick up Bad People again and start getting more into that book, and then go from there. But that's my update. Hello, happy football Sunday. I'm wearing my football shirt. Yeah, so I just finished Into the Drowning Deep. I'm going to give it, I think, 4 stars. The ending, I was kind of surprised about, but not fully fulfilled. I don't know. I was just like, they kind of explain what happened a little bit. I mean, they did explain, but I was just kind of underwhelmed. But it was still a 4-star, I would say. Not too bad. Not too shabby. I believe this is a series or whatever, but not too bad. But yes, so I finished the 2 books finally. Now all I gotta do is finish reading Bad People by his last name's Walwork. Last night I ended up picking up, actually, Heartstopper Volume 1, just to cleanse the palate a little bit from all the horror and thriller and stuff like that. And oh, it was so good. Oh, my heart, it was so good. Perfect. So yeah, that's my little update. In a little bit, I'm going to go to the library and do a pickup, because I got some books that I had on hold for a bit, and now I'm doing a curbside pickup. Again, 4 stars. I do like how they went about the whole mermaid thing, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I enjoyed that aspect a lot. And again, I enjoyed the characters, the main group of characters, and it was super 90s horror, group of misfits put together on a boat and getting picked off by monsters, so I liked it. Yeah. Yay! Hello. I think it's been like a day. It's morning of Tuesday. I don't know what day it is, 29th. So I'm reading my third and final horror book for this vlog, and it's Bad People by Craig Walwork. I'm like 20% into it, and I'm liking it a lot, actually. Yeah, so far it's about, like, the prologue. I'm curious to see how that connects to the story, but it's about a writer who is an ex-cop, and he's going to this town to research and sort of investigate there's been disappearances of 3 little kids, and they're all surrounded by this house. So every time they disappeared, they were near the house, at this house, I forget the name of it, that's awful. But yeah, so he's just going around with this cop, Tom, and just trying to get information about these kids' disappearances, pretty much. And it's also following, I don't know if it'll be a spoiler. I won't say it because I'm not sure. But I like that there's supernatural stuff in it, which I wasn't expecting, like supernatural paranormal, and I'm liking it a lot. It's super creepy. And there's a mystery around another character. You know that they are a key component to the reason why these children are missing. I don't know how the story's gonna go. It's not predictable whatsoever, so I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I'm excited so far. Like, it has a high rating so far, and it's written really well. And the main character, the author, you get backstory on him, and you're seeing, like, the characters have weight to them, or they have personality and stuff, which is kind of refreshing because it just makes me think of the book I just read, The Resurrectionist, when the characters were just almost like paper dolls, just flat, no depth. But these characters have depth already, and I'm not even halfway through yet, so yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I will update later once I get further into the book, but so far, I'm liking it. Good morning. It is October 5th. I have not been reading. Had our baby's party yesterday, which ended up just being like online, just a digital get-together streaming thing. It was fun. But this morning I finally got to pick up Bad People again, and it's getting more supernatural, and I love it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. That's all. I will update when I have time. Ooh, hello. It has been a minute since I've updated on here. I just wanted to say I'm almost done with Bad People, and I hit some plot twists, and ooh, I did not expect them. Touche, Craig. Touche. This book is it's much more detective-y, more of a detective novel for sure. And I mean, yeah, it's a detective novel, duh. But I think the only thing that's like making me struggle with the book, it's like taking me a bit to read. Because it's like once I pick it up, I read a lot, but then I find myself picking up other books instead. And it seems like it's become my book that I go outside with and read by the pellet fire. I enjoy that. And that seems to be my book. And the fact that I'm also reading it as an ebook, I don't read as fast also. So, but I'm almost done with it. I am enjoying it, even though, like I said, it's definitely a detective novel. It's a series with following a detective, essentially, I believe. And I think that's the part where I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not super into detective novels. Like, I like some, but whenever it's heavy in the detective part, and as a reader, where I'm at, I don't want to say what part, but at the point where I'm at, we know most of what's happening, or like what's happening with these missing kids. I mean, I guess we don't really know for sure yet, but other things that have been happening throughout the book, where the reader figures out pretty much like, okay, we know what's happening. And the detectives are still trying to 100% figure it out. It's, you know what's happening before the detectives, and you're kind of going through the process of how the detectives are figuring it out, but it just feels like they're following these breadcrumbs everywhere. So it's like they're interviewing this person, which leads to interviewing that person, which leads to interviewing this other person to interview that person. And it's just like they're adding a bunch of different characters towards the end of the story, and they're trying to like piece it all together, which I get. It's just I'm not really into those type of books, I think. But the plot twists make up for all that for me, because I was surprised and it wasn't super predictable, that's for sure. And finally see how the beginning of the book connects to the rest of the book, because that was the part where I was like, I don't understand how this connects, like, whatsoever. But yeah, I definitely recommend it though, for people who like detective stuff, murder mystery, and it's gory. There's a little bit of gore, but it's tasteful, somewhat. I don't know if I would say tasteful. Maybe that's a bad word, bad description. But yeah, there's a lot going on for sure. And it's interesting, and the writing. Craig Walwork is a good writer. It's not repetitive, and the characters are fleshed out, and it's a solid story. So I appreciate that. And I keep going back to The Resurrectionist, where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is not written very well. But this is like the stark opposite of that. Technical writing and structure of story and stuff like that. So my baby is finally down for his second nap, so I am going to try and knock this out. I'm excited. I'm excited that I found a new author who I really respect his work, and he's an actual good writer and storyteller. So, and he's coming out with a new book in November, and it looks good. I love the cover. I love the whole idea of it. The plot, I guess it's about a guy who he has a disease or like some type of health issue, and he is going to be dead by the age of 30, they say. So it's like his 30th birthday is in 6 months or something. But he has a girlfriend, and something weird is going on. He doesn't trust her, and yeah, it just sounds good. It's called, I don't remember what it's called, but I'll put it up. I'll put the cover of it up. But I'm excited. I'm gonna pre-order, I think. Anyways, I will let you go for now. I'm gonna try to read a little bit while little man is sleeping, and I will talk to you later. So I finished Bad People. I am shook. Oh. So I don't that ending, that's how I'm feeling right now. Like my world is upside down. So I was thinking, oh, I know what's happening. I did not know what was happening. And then you kind of figure it out like towards the end. But how he ends it, it's done really well. I think this is one of the top 5 books I read this year. Like I'm super surprised and I'm just I don't even I'm lost for words right now. Damn. Damn. So if you like the show, the HBO show True Detective, this is very like this is kind of similar style. See, this is a 5 star. Easy 5 star. For the majority of it, I would say I was like between like 3.5, 4. It wasn't bad, but it was okay. And like I kind of like, okay, detective stuff, whatever. What? Like the pit, like there's a crazy scene at the end where everything's going down, and it was so intense. So intense. I was just flying through it. And then you're like you kind of get you catch your breath and you're like, okay, so this is what's happened. We figured it out. And just how he describes the see, I don't want to spoil it. That ending though, because you kind of like, okay, this must be what it is. Like I was not expecting that. Dang, Craig. Dang, that was good. That was good. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna read the second one because it's like detective. It's what is it? A Tom Nolan book. I think it's the second one is like part of the series. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about it. And it, oh my, so good. And it had the best like plot twists. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, now let's close out this vlog, shall we? I have been reading these books and vlogging for them for weeks now. It took me way too long to read them, but of course I was reading other books while reading them. I do that. Anyways, so I'll start with the lowest rated to the highest. I mean, there's only 3, so the lowest is The Resurrectionist. I think I gave it a 2.5 stars. Yeah, I already talked about it. It was the writing isn't the best, and it became even more noticeable later on once I started reading the other 2 books and just realizing I don't know if he needs a new editor or something, but it was lacking. That's for sure. Very gory and a lot of trigger warnings, which I mentioned before. Yeah, I'm not going to read any more of his books. Yeah. So I would say the next book I read that I enjoyed this one, Into the Drowning Deep. I would say, I think I gave it like a 4. It was just really very dense in the scientific things, and that kind of bored me quite a bit. And I was like halfway through the book before it like caught my attention. It was interesting, though the first, like I would say the scene, there's a scene in here where it's like really scary. It's probably the scariest I felt while reading a book out of all 3 of these. Like just scared. Like The Resurrectionist was creepy and just like demented. This was just like, this struck my phobias in the face. So yeah, it was good. It was decent. I didn't really care for the ending though. The ending was just kind of like, and it's over. Yay. So I was just kind of blah. The Resurrectionist, I enjoyed that ending more than the rest of the book. And then I would say I enjoyed like the second half of this book the most out of the whole entire thing. And then by far, my most favorite out of the 3 is Craig Walwork's Bad People. Dang. Dang. I'm still like kind of surprised at how much it surprised me with the twists the plot twists in it, because I kept, like, through, when you're reading a book, you're trying to figure it out. I did not figure this one out whatsoever. Very enjoyable. I'm a little so-so with detective novels and stuff like that, because I get kind of bored, and it did have moments where I was just like, okay, I'm just like rushing through it because I want to get to like the next scene, or like get some more information to try to figure out what's happening. And dang, I would say I like the first, I would say half of it, like at the build up and stuff like that, it was just your typical novel, you know, like murder mystery type thing. And it was decent, but I was just like, okay, it's normal, it's average. But then like the second half, I read it, I couldn't put it down. It was so good. It was really good. I enjoyed this so much. And like I said earlier, this is probably like within the top 5 books I've read so far this year, where it left an impression on me. And it makes me want to read the next book, which is not normal for me, because usually I'll read one and done, you know? Like, I don't do series. I don't care. I don't really care. And then the person, Tom Nolan, who is the police detective in the book, I don't know. I didn't really care for him at first, but then by the end, I liked him. And I'm kind of attached now, and I have to know what's going to happen in the second one. Dang, that was so good. So, these are the books I read that I thought I would read them a lot faster. But I mean, they're decent size. Like, Into the Drowning Deep is pretty thick. I'm fairly happy to finally read these, and I look forward to reading more of Craig's work. And Mira Grant, I already have some of her other books, but I'm not in a hurry to read. And then Wraith, what's his name? Yeah, Wraith White, or Wrath White. Not reading any of his other stuff, but yes, I have like a new favorite book, I think. Dang, yeah, okay. So yeah, that was my vlog of reading 3 horror books. I'm not sure how many updates I did on it. I don't remember. I gotta put this all together, but hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, maybe I'll do another one. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I will talk to you guys later.